boys and girls, welcome back to science. So today in our science investigation, we are going to be investigating light energy. So the amount of light that we can see. And today what we're going to do is I have a piece of paper, a piece of colored paper inside of this envelope. And we are going to try to figure out what color paper is inside the envelope using light energy. So at one time, we're going to not use a lot of light energy. We're going to be in a very dark room. And at another time, we're going to be standing in front of a very bright window. So we'll be using a lot of light energy. But before we start, let's make a prediction. What color construction paper do you think that I have inside of this envelope? So you can see the envelope's completely sealed. What color do you think is inside that envelope? Well, right now it's really hard to tell because there's not a lot of light energy getting through the envelope. So let's just make a prediction. What color do you think is in there? I want you to make your prediction, and then on your chart, we're going to write down what color you think is inside the envelope. All right, so even though I can't see clearly through this envelope, there's not a lot of light energy getting in through the envelope, I made a prediction on what color I think the construction paper might be. And if you hold this up into light, you might be able to see it a little more clearly than if the envelope is just sitting on a counter or on a table. But if you want to do this investigation at home, have a parent put the piece of colored paper in the envelope so that way you can really make a guess or a prediction. That way you don't know. So on my chart, I went ahead and made the prediction that I think there's red construction paper inside of the envelope. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but the next part is going to help me figure out if there's actually red construction paper inside of the envelope. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my envelope into a dark room in my house where there's no natural light. So you can go inside of a closet or maybe inside of a bathroom that doesn't have a window. Just go somewhere in your house that doesn't have a lot of natural light. And then you're going to take the paper out of the envelope and you are going to look at it. Now it's going to be kind of hard to see because you're in a dark room. But go ahead and continue watching this video and you're going to see me in a dark room where I'm looking at the color construction paper inside of the envelope and seeing if I can figure it out. And then you're going to meet me back here for some observations. All right, boys and girls, so I took myself to a completely dark place in my home and I have the envelope right in front of me. I know that it's hard to see because I'm in a very dark room and there's not a lot of light energy. So now I'm going to open the envelope and I'm going to see if I can figure out what color piece of paper is inside my envelope with the light energy right now that's in my very dark room. And right now, just from looking at the envelope, I can't see it very well. But I can see it a little bit more clearly than you can see it on camera. So I can see my envelope just a little bit better, but for you that it's pretty dark. So this is an easy experiment for you to recreate at home, and I suggest you do that so that way you can see a little bit better because like I said on camera, it's very hard to see. And I don't want to use any light because then that would mess up my investigation. So anyways, let me open up the envelope and see if I can figure out what color paper this is with just a little bit of light energy that I have in my very dark room. So I have my paper out, and I know it's very hard for you to see because it's so dark, but to me it looks orange. I can see that it's pretty bright orange. All right, now that I'm done looking at it outside of the envelope without a lot of light energy, now I'm going to go to the natural light and see if I can see it a little more clearly. As you can see now, I'm standing in front of a bright window where there's lots of natural light, and you can clearly see that my paper is orange. So now that I have a lot more light energy, it's easier for me to see that my paper is orange. And again, on camera, it comes across, there you go. Comes across a little bit darker than it is in person. That's why I totally suggest that you do this activity along with me at home so that way you can see yours a little more clearly. All right, now that we have seen our paper in the dark and in natural light, let's go back to our chart and write down our observations. Right, so as you saw in the video, when I was standing inside of the dark room, I could barely see the paper. And I know you could barely see it on camera. To me, it was a little more clear than it was to you on video. But I was able to figure out that the color of my construction paper was orange. So on my observation paper, I want to make sure that I write that I observed it was orange. So I'm gonna say the paper was orange. I'm gonna say it was hard to see. Because standing inside that dark room, even though I could make out the color, it was hard to see because there wasn't a lot of light energy in that dark room. Okay? And then you saw me standing in front of a window with a lot of natural light, and I could clearly see that my paper was orange. So I'm gonna write down that in this observation. I could clearly see the orange paper. All right, now that I have all of my observations filled out and I was able to tell what color paper was inside of my envelope, I'm gonna answer some questions, or you're going to answer some questions. So you're gonna try this experiment at home if you can. Remember, it's only if a parent or guardian or whoever's at home with you allows you to. But even if you can't, you're gonna answer these questions after seeing me do the experiment. So the first question was, how did the amount of light change the way that the paper appeared? And the other question is, when did you use the most amount of light energy? When did you use the least? So you're gonna answer those two questions on your observation sheet, and then for your formative assessment, you're going to show me your observation sheet and show me that you did the light investigation on your own or that you did it along with me. Make sure you tell me what color your piece of paper was if you do it on your own, so that way I could see if you predicted correctly or if you had to use light energy like I did in order to figure out what color piece of paper was in my envelope. Make sure you let your teacher know if you have any questions or need any help with this investigation, and I hope you have fun investigating light energy.